And welcome to the Rag Company Podcast. I'm Dane Hennen. To my right, Levi Gates.
What's up, dude?
And to my left, the Project Son returns. Anthony, welcome back to the show.
Feels good to be back. Dane, thanks for having me here on the TRC podcast.
Well, you know, I didn't have a choice. It was actually mandated that you come back on the show. So
I'm a big fan, and I'm very excited to have you back.
Wow,
it's
thank
probably
you.
one of the highlights of my week. We'll say that.
I just didn't want to give him too much. I don't want to give him a big head.
I do.
Are
I
we
want to give
doing
him
this
a very
live?
big
This isn't live.
This is unlisted live. So this is
like
a way
that.
to test the system without
Nice.
actually bringing people in to do
feels
the
like
thing.
it's
So
live.
it's a good test.
So I'll just make sure I don't say any bad words, right?
There you go. That's
As,
right.
That's
as
the
usual.
idea.
Not that I ever do that, right?
You're very good at watching your language, some say.
Thank you. Yeah, I try. A whole lot of fudging. Am I right?
Well, and on that note,
So yeah,
where were you?
man. Do you want me to start this off?
Well,
Today?
I wanna throw that out there because I know a lot of people
Okay.
are like looking, and of course if you went on a trip, people are automatically suspicious. Like we're in the same room together and everything right now. It's a concern, but you know what?
I just thought people would know that I went on a trip.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Not that I was a
What'd you-
carrier.
No.
No. So I went on a trip. Yeah, I went on a family vacation, and it was something that we planned, like literally. It was like last year.
My favorite is that when you told your mom you might not be able to go, she actually started to weep.
Dude, she
started crying.
I did. Yeah.
And you felt like a horrible son.
I felt pretty bad. Yeah, my parents have been. So my stepdad or my dad, right? He's been planning this trip forever, right? And he's put so much time and effort into.
Yeah,
he's
and
one of those.
you almost ruined it.
He's a planner. He's one of those
Yeah,
guys that will
you
literally
almost ruined it.
He'll write everything down on paper,
Yeah,
right? And he'll be
yeah.
like, "Here's the list of plans." I'm like, you could have just
Yeah.
texted that to me.
That's like me.
Yeah, he's like,
your
but-
dad and I get along very.
He's like,
I
"No,
think
I
we
have it
could. I
all
think we'd
written
have a
down."
lot of fun
all on
planning out
pen
a
and
family
paper.
vacation.
So he's taking pictures of his papers and notes and
Uh-huh.
sending them to me. And I
Right.
said, okay, well, that's good.
We got to know the itinerary. I
Yeah.
do the same thing when we travel as a team here at TRC.
Yeah.
Build
Yeah,
out
you
the
do.
itinerary. I email it to everybody. You've stated on many podcasts, even at your honeymoon.
Yeah.
You wished.
Yeah. I wish we had a Levi.
You
Yeah.
wished I was there with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That's
just
so
along. Yeah, with me and my wife on a romantic getaway. Mhm.
perfect. I'd be able to take you around as
Really-
like
really
a
seals the
personal
deal.
guide.
Yeah,
Right.
I like that.
So
But no, so basically they had been planning this for a long time, and it's technically was a camping trip is what it was. The whole trip was just to drive to Oregon, stay at this place called Belknap Hot Springs. It's like it's like a campsite / hot spring area that you can go to, and it's super beautiful, super nice. And then from there, we were going to go to Hasita Beach, which is in Florence, Oregon, and then stay there for 2 days, right? And so
Nice.
they had been planning this trip all along, and this is all before all the COVID stuff and everything like
Right,
that.
yeah.
And they were like, man, we hope, by summer this will be, we'll be good, right?
Yeah.
And then summer came, not really in a good spot. But I think that everybody within my family, they were like, we need to do something, right? Because we need to bring the family together, right, and do something as a family, or we need to get the heck out of this area. And I think
Right.
everybody's been so cooped up, and and me, I'm kind of one of those guys where I'm happy to stay at home. I'm totally fine staying at home.
A
but
homebody.
But I also like going on trips and stuff. And so it was tough because when I told my mom, like, hey, I don't know, if between work and everything else, if it's gonna happen. And she started crying, and she's like Anthony, she's like your brother, right? He's going to be getting shipped off to Germany, right? Because he's in the Air Force and he's got his orders, so he's going to Germany. And she's like, we're not even sure if we'll be able to see him. And then all I really was looking forward to was having time together with the family.
Yeah.
At least have you, my
Yeah.
son, and my sister, and I'm like, dang, okay. And I kind of got it, and I kind of try to put myself.
well, you're a good son.
My parents.
You're a good son. You're not just gonna
I always
leave
want-
them hanging.
I always want to put my family first. And
Right.
so I saw how important it was to them. So that's when I asked Jeff and Carolyn if this would be okay. And I kind of explained my full plan, my full process. And since
It was
we were,
important to know that because without that info,
You
it
would have
wouldn't
been
sounded
quarantined.
good.
We would have kept
we would have
your
said,
butt home.
no way
Yeah.
you're coming back
Well,
in here for at least 2 weeks.
and since we were driving, we had more control of the situation. And then really for 3 days, 4 days technically, and 3 nights, we were camping. I was camping in a campground far away from pretty much everybody, where my parents were staying. They had a cabin that was the whole we were about a half mile away from where they were, so I had to hike every time I wanted to go like see them. And eventually, me, Katie, and my brother-in-law, and my sister were like, "Screw it, man! We're just staying here at the campgrounds because this is a lot of work." And but yeah, so all that was kind of that was the whole trip is kind of what I did. And so, but I can kind of go into a little more detail later. But
Sure.
You guys want to tell me what you did this weekend?
Well, I actually got Gabe's truck polished up. Got that ready to go.
Did you polish and prep it for
I did.
a coating?
I did. I polished and
Almost
prepped
like we
it
had a
for
plan.
coating. Almost like we had a couple videos we needed to
Planned,
shoot on some
yeah.
products and
Yeah.
stuff. So we were able to do that. So I just worked on it in the garage. I've got the new weather predicting solution package.
Yeah, the MOS HQ.
At the
yeah.
MOS HQ. So really
clairvoyant.
got to give it a good run through. This weekend kept the MOS HQ at a cool 78 degrees.
I was gonna say,
It's a very advanced weather.
Yeah,
system.
did it
Weather
tell you it was
predicting
going to be
system.
hot outside?
It did. It told me, not only did it tell me the indoor temperature, but it told me the outdoor temperature as well. It actually has a wireless sensor that is powered by 2 AAA batteries.
Did you have to pay extra for that?
No, it was
Wow.
included. The
Wow.
batteries I had to pay extra for.
What a deal!
But such
Wow,
a
that's
deal.
better than the GoPro I recently
Able
got that they
to-
took a port away from. So you
yeah,
had to
don't
pay
want
extra
that
for stuff now.
No, you don't need that kind of stuff. This all inclusive, and I'm going to say, it was a very big investment on my part for the MOS HQ. But in the interest of science and having a cutting edge facility,
Of course.
I figured $29 was the actual investment I needed to put into this. So that I could know what was going on outside as well as inside the garage.
Touchscreen capabilities, am I right?
Touchscreen capabilities.
Wow. Yeah.
It doesn't do anything when you touch it.
That's okay.
It's got buttons on the back. So you
So you
push
can
the buttons
touch
and it'll
the
change
screen.
the functions.
Ah,
You can
okay.
it'll change to Celsius from
Yeah.
Fahrenheit.
Gotcha.
It's got an alarm clock on it, so it'll set an alarm if you need as well.
Wow.
So I can, perhaps time myself. It tells me the phases of the moon, tells me the barometric pressure, as well as the
Is this a
humidity.
Wi-Fi connected device?
No, not at all.
It's indie. It's
Wow.
It's fully independent based. It's
good
just like
reviews?
old school weather technology.
Getting good reviews?
Yeah, 4.5 stars on Amazon.
Not bad.
Not bad. Yeah.
Not
It
easy
came
to
with a
do.
charging cord. I had to plug it into a USB outlet, of
Yeah,
course. I stole one from my iPhone.
Yeah.
And used that.
as you do.
But all in, really nice. Able to run it through its paces. It got up to 100 degrees outside, and it was staying a frosty 78 in the garage,
No way.
which was quite nice to be able to work in for some of the day.
Yeah.
Other parts of the day, it did get a little it was just swampy. Even at 80,
Yeah.
it was, once it hit 80 in the shop, it was very hot still. And then finished cleaning some more of the trailer tonight. I'm going to collapse it all back down, put it all back, pull it out of my trailer parking solution area that I have over there at the MOS HQ as well. I now have 2 trailers parked there. Wow. I have Green Bean as well as the new travel trailer, which we need to come up with a name. But it is, I'm going to pull it out into the driveway, open it up again. This time I'm going to push the slide out on the side.
Oh.
Has a side slide out as well. I'm going to push that out, get that all opened up because I got to clean that still, and then get it just ready for our camping trip on Friday.
So
when did you get this trailer?
You didn't get to hear the story of this thing.
Oh right, yeah, you missed out on this completely.
Well, I don't want to bore
So-
everybody,
well,
but
No, this is a great tale of woe and
Where-
loving and
Status
longing.
wise, where are we at on the smell?
So far so good.
What?
I'm actually
The
impressed
smell?
with the way it smells right now. Smells really clean and nice.
Good.
I'm thinking of I put in I forgot to change over. I put in the sheets that were on the bedding.
Uh-huh.
I put them in the wash last night, so I need to get those.
Okay,
washed
explain to
out.
me
So-
what is this trailer?
All right, so my dad purchased a tent trailer, so a pop-up tent
Love
trailer.
tent trailers. Yeah, love
Right?
them. Yeah.
Bought one of those about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Purchased it. Went in halvesies with his brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
So his brother-in-law used it for the majority of the time period.
Do you live
right?
in it?
No, they just used
Okay,
it.
just
Him and
used
his
it.
wife used it as a camp.
Brand
for
new?
camping. No, it's a 98 I think.
Well, they just don't make them like that anymore,
And
so that's good.
Yeah, so Coleman Bayside is what it is.
Oh, very nice.
And made by Fleetwood, so very nice trailer, very expensive tent trailer.
Classy.
It's got a slide out on the side, so it's 2 king beds
Yeah.
and a slide out.
Wow.
The only options it didn't have is the shower and toilet, which I don't need a shower and a toilet in
Well,
a
you can
tent trailer.
there's buckets for that.
Yeah.
If you can avoid
So-
having extra things to clean up after.
Right, exactly.
you avoid it. That's all
I
right.
just don't want to clean up poop.
No.
So basically, my dad bought this thing, didn't use it once, slept in it once, then bought his 40-foot motorhome.
Yeah.
That's a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah. So for my dad, he was like, I got my motorhome. Don't need this. His brother-in-law still used it. Then he goes, hey, Brad, we're going to move. Would you like to buy us out of the tent trailer? We're not going to take it with us. Dad's like, yeah, sure. Bought him out. Brought it home. Opened it up. Was like, oh my gosh, they haven't cleaned this thing out. It's dirty. It's filthy. My dad cleans it up a bit. Closes it back up, takes it down to Nelson's, has a bunch of stuff that was broken on it fixed.
Sure.
Yeah.
My dad puts about another $5,000 into this tent trailer,
Whoa,
fixing everything.
$5,000.
Yeah, it's
That's healthy.
about all it's
for-
worth.
Well, that's a
So,
nice tent right there is what
I
that
was gonna
is.
It's a very nice tent
Yeah.
trailer. So gets it all fixed up, right? Last year, brings it back to his garage, to his shop, and parks it.
Okay.
Then goes, hey, it's there for you if you want it. Tells my brother-in-law, hey, it's there for you if you want it. I've basically bought it, fixed it up. It's ready to go. You guys want to borrow it? It's yours.
Wow.
I said, wow, thank you. So nice. Great. But we were traveling all last summer and never got a chance to fully take the kids out and go do something. So I was like, didn't get to do it. My brother-in-law, same thing. Didn't do anything. My dad gets a hold of me and goes, this tent trailer been sitting here for a year. You haven't used it. It's been closed up for almost 2 years. Are you going to use it? Because if you don't, I'm going to sell it.
Womp.
And I said, I'll come over and pick it up. As I go pick it up, my dad's like, you got a perfect spot on the side of that. You got that trailer parking solution package over there at the MOS HQ. It's perfect spot for that trailer to live.
He's like, please. Take
And
it
I
away
said, oh, okay.
permanently.
So plan was basically I picked it up. I had 2 weeks to work on it, air it out, clean it up. So last week and this week, Friday night, we're going to go camping just for one night. The goal was if I can get this trailer cleaned up, brought back to as nice as possible, Carly will like it enough to want to keep it and use it more often.
And perhaps buy your dad out on it.
Or perhaps my dad just gives it to me.
Well, what a gift that would be.
Right?
Your dad just
So-
wants another spot for a car.
Exactly. So my dad would like me to just become the caretaker, use it, have fun with it, and the kids and all that stuff. So that's what I've been working on the last week and a half is I've had the trailer open, all popped out, everything looking sharp and great. And I've been working on getting it it's an old trailer, smells. So I've cleaned all the
If
canvas.
you want, you can borrow my
I'm going to need to do that probably tomorrow anyway.
Yeah,
What's
we,
it-
we
what's it-
talked about
Your
it last
ozone
time.
machine.
my ozone machine. I do
Yeah.
have one of those.
I would like to borrow your ozone machine. So, but that's one of the things. So tonight I'm going to close it back up, pull it out, open it up the rest of the way again. I've got one storage container I need to clean out, and then I need to pull everything out, clean it out, put everything back in,
Okay.
and then open it up, pull the side out, clean that slide out, and then it should be ready to go to put back together, so to
Yeah.
speak. And then we'll take it Friday night. I still have to install a battery, so that way we have electricity. I ordered some LED bulbs to
Real
replace the incandescents on the inside because it runs off battery power.
Yeah.
So I want to try and limit the amount
It'll
of
probably
electricity.
go a lot further with
Yeah.
that little change.
So those are just the interior lights. Little things I cleaned out, like they were full of bugs,
Oh,
Pulled
yeah.
the covers, soaked them in some O&R for a while.
Yeah.
Got all the brown goo off. They look like brand new covers. My dad saw them, was like, where'd you get these? I was like, I just washed them. He's like, these are brand new.
That's what happens when you clean things.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been deep cleaning this trailer
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
really make it look as nice as possible. So it's coming along.
Any holes?
Yeah, a couple tears in the canvas.
Okay.
So started doing some research online, and a lot of folks said get the vinyl
Patch.
It's like a
Gorilla.
patch
No,
kit.
it's Gorilla Glue.
Oh.
It's a tape. It's like it's a really strong thick poly. It's almost like clear bra material. Easiest way to describe it. But you stick it on one side, stick it on the other, and it's waterproof too.
You sandwich it.
So you just sandwich both. So I've basically gone through and sandwiched some of the holes just with little squares and cut them out and put the pieces on. So we'll see how long it lasts. It really only needs to last me this year. And if I have to replace them and put more tape on, I'll take them off and put new tape on.
I'm picturing the flex tape guys throwing the
It's
trailer
literally-
into a lake
yeah.
and slapping it on both sides and go, look, no water gets in.
Yeah, no, it's literally what it feels like, but it's clear. So
Yeah.
the tape is clear, so which I think looks a little better than having, because there is a spot where they put some black tape on the roof, and I just taped.
It looks a little.
Yeah, took that off last night, cleaned that whole area up, retaped it, made it look nice. But it's for being almost 20 years old or 25 years old, it's in really good shape, and it's a big trailer, and Ragnarok pulls it just fine. I do need to get a drop hitch still, just to get it to sit a little more level, or I need to lift the trailer.
Okay.
So I may, if I keep it and I use it and my wife loves it, maybe I'll do a lift kit, flip the axle and raise it up just a little bit. Yeah. But the goal is I got to get Carly on board. Once Carly's on board, we're set. But if Carly's like, no, don't like it, then
That's why you're fighting so hard to make a good first impression.
Right. Yep. Yeah. It's what I do. I'm good at that. Yeah. The other thing was Thursday night, the Elantra got broken into.
Yeah, I heard it. I did hear
it. It was a crime of convenience.
I was going to say, not passion.
Not passion. But crime of convenience. The culprit, just my car was unlocked because I left it unlocked on accident. And they opened the door, rifled through some stuff. Didn't steal anything. If they did, I didn't notice. Yeah, which is a good thing.
If you didn't notice, it probably mustn't have been that.
My radar detector was sitting right on the dashboard, and he didn't even touch that. So
they knew it was a cheap one.
Well, and then but they got my neighbors next door. They went into his car as well.
What did they get out of
Nothing.
that? Nothing. Okay, so they were probably looking for something specific.
They were just rifling because I had cash. I had cash money, cold hard cash in that car. They didn't touch. He had cold hard cash.
Spot?
They didn't touch. My ashtray full of coins. My little door cup full of bills, dollar bills. So.
And the fact that I don't know, it could go either way, but I kind of wonder if they were looking for something very particular.
Well, and down the street, one of the neighbors who, that's where Lars and Ram stayed when they came to visit. She said that the neighbor across from her had also had her car gone through and had been rifled through, but nothing was
Everybody's
stolen.
leaving their cars open?
3 cars apparently left their doors unlocked Thursday night. But anyway, Friday night was when I noticed it was broken into. So I was kind of bummed that I didn't notice it sooner. And the crazy thing, police officers showed up. Mm-hmm. Police, one younger than me, which was very weird to go like, oh, your guys are probably late 20s. But big fans of the podcast, big fans of the Rag Company. Actually, the main officer said, are you Levi from the Rag Company? I was like, I am. He was like, I didn't know if it was you or Anthony who I was coming to the house. I saw Levi, but I wasn't sure. And then I saw the Suburban, and he's like, there's big fans of the Rag Company. So
look at that.
Yeah,
look at that. That's awesome.
So pretty cool. Fun time about 2 a.m. talking to the police.
That's the right time.
I reported it at like 9 o'clock, and they showed up at my house at 2 a.m. and then called me to say, hey, are you still awake? Like, yeah. Okay, we're out front. Okay. So
they're like, cool, you show us any detailing stuff inside?
I wasn't awake. I was tired.
You want to see this truck I'm working on? Yeah, come check it out. Come try Beadmaker for the first time.
Yeah, I got some Beadmaker here.
A little product testing. You're on the clock,
you guys want
right?
to try the new Rupes stuff? I got that. No, but it was good. But they were great guys, good officers. My neighbor actually didn't report it, so I'm going to put that on my report so that also gets counted. I posted it on Nextdoor, all that stuff. So, but that was my weekend. Kind of tomorrow, I'm going to be working on or tonight and the rest of the week, just getting that trailer ready. I'm taking Friday off, and so just want to get that trailer going so that it's ready to go, and we can go up and hopefully make some adventures.
Yeah, hopefully so.
So we'll have fun. But
yeah,
what'd you do, Dane?
Well, I finally sold the truck. That's what I'm excited
about.
It's gone. Hooray! Not the Tacoma.
Man.
I'm keeping that.
Did you get get the $1,800 you had it listed for?
Nope.
Oh.
No.
Did you get the $1,500 you dropped the
even
price
Oh,
down
well, you
to?
got $1,300 for it.
Nope, not even that.
Dane, you got
$1,200, right?
It was $1,200.
I mean, any lower than that, I would have just kept it.
No, see, the problem was at a certain point after you deal with what I ended up counting in excess of 50 people.
50 people
I counted,
wanted
there were
that
about
car.
54,
Wow,
55,
50
something like that, interactions I had on Facebook
Yeah.
Marketplace.
Well, you got 55 people wanting your car. You name your price at that
Yeah,
point.
and I want
You literally
to
get to
stress.
say, there's 54 people looking for this car. The
This
price
is a
just went up.
2001 Mazda B2000.
Price just went up.
3,000.
$3,000. That's what you got for it.
That is not how that works. So
54
what I
people
want
wanted
to
the car.
what I want to stress here is out of those 50 some odd people, those are just the ones I actually had a full back and forth interaction with. There were more people I talked to
Oh my
who
gosh.
asked me the
This is
question. I
like-
responded, and then they gave nothing back. There were more. If I count those, I probably had 70 people ask
man.
about it. I checked on there.
$4,000.
Apparently, like
That's what you got for it.
3,000 plus people looked at the truck online.
Oh my gosh.
So
This is
pretty good
this
numbers.
is like we might as well taken it to Meekum.
Well, when
Putting
I
the
talked,
auction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
when I
I'm
talked
gonna
with
say
a few people,
I'm gonna say you got $4,500 for that truck.
that is
That
not
number of
remotely
people,
True.
4,000 people looking at that car, 75 interactions.
Dane, I think it's fine. How much did you sell the truck for?
$1,000.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Wait, $1,000?
Sold it for $1,000.
$1,000.
Somebody's dad is very happy with the truck. That's replacing the regular cab 6-foot bed Ranger that he had previously that got run into by some other driver. So he was looking for something similar to replace it. I happen to have a truck that satisfied that. But what was so challenging about this is unless you're selling a car, when you sell a car cheap, you get a lot of folks who are coming by who are flaky to begin
So you
with.
know how economics work, right? You know
I
what
know.
what the demand is?
Yes.
So you had 3,000 people looking at that vehicle. You had over 75 interactions.
Here's the
of
problem,
people.
though. If it was running
You're
perfectly,
supposed to raise the price.
No, if it was
You
running
say, "I
perfectly,
got 75 people waiting in line behind you,
okay.
bud."
For God's sake,
Name the
people in the
price.
comments. If it was a perfect running vehicle, I would not have had this issue. The issue is when you have a head gasket problem. Suddenly, everybody is like, "Well, now I want to finagle and haggle and."
Is your Express Cafe bill every month?
It's whatever. I just happy not to have it in my driveway anymore.
Okay.
That's
so
the point.
couple things, Dane. So question.
And I'm not paying insurance on it now. I don't have to worry about that stuff. That's great.
That was like $25 a month. though.
Question for you, right? So you sold it for $1,000, right? Do you think that you could have had $1,000 in fun in one way, shape, or form with that vehicle?
Yeah, I
Let's
like
just
this
say
idea.
if you were to have taken that car, what is that thing that they do?
Drive it off a cliff.
No, what is that
in
thing-
Alaska? I've seen those videos.
No, what is that thing that they do every single year? That rally, that off-road rally.
Oh,
where
the
they-
gambler.
The
could've
gambler.
You
Turn it into a
technically, it
gambler
needs to be a
truck.
$500 car to do that.
No, it just needs to look $500.
Tell me, we can say it's worth $500. We can beat it up.
The
if we
problem,
want.
okay, the problem is though.
So Victor
It's-
just bought a Jaguar with an LS engine in it, put tires, cut the
That's just
fenders.
it, though. It
He
has
didn't
an-
pay $500 for
It
it.
has an LS engine that runs perfectly. The
No,
trouble,
transmission went out on it.
whatever. The problem is with this truck, it had possibly a warped head, it had head gasket issues, and it had rod knocks. So there's a lot of people who are looking at that truck going, I love the body style, I love the idea of the truck. The problem is the drivetrain makes me think I'm going to spend more replacing the engine than I will just buying the truck.
Should've
And
done
thus,
the gambler with
I'm
it.
not interested. So that's where you end up having a lot of people who show initial interest. I include all this stuff
What
in my
if you
listing,
did-
but nobody reads.
What if you
and
did
then
sold tickets, $10, hit it with a baseball bat?
Also, Dane, most people would have done in this
I'm just trying to
situation.
express the frustrations of someone who's been in my position
Well,
before,
we
trying to sell a
understand.
We know
vehicle that is
I
not
know.
perfectly
I love getting
running.
you frustrated.
Yeah, no. So we
It's
hear.
so
So what I
obnoxious.
hear is I hear rod knock, bad head gasket, possibly a warped head or something going on there. The answer to that is to boost it, right? I think
Yeah.
turboing that truck would
Turbo
have
kit.
fixed all of those
We
things.
could have gamblered it, turboed it, and then when it was dead, we could have taken it to Pacific Steel and gotten $300 for it.
Here's
That
the
is
thing,
true.
though. This
We would
is
have
what
had
was
$700
so,
worth of fun. The three of us could have split that $700, right? That would have been pretty cheap. We could have had a fun weekend
Dude,
with
how
it.
many seats were in that truck?
It's a
was a
bench with
three-seater.
a separated
Yeah.
60.
It was a
40.
bench. All three of
Yeah.
us could have fit in there.
Basically, the driver's seat could
jumped
move
that thing.
independently
We
of
could
the
have jumped that
center
thing.
and the passenger
One
seat.
of us probably would have become paralyzed, but we would have had a blast.
This is what was so
Think
frustrating.
how much
though.
fun that would have
The
been.
interior on that truck was quite nice. Like it was in really good
Sure,
shape.
it was lovely.
The body of it
You put a dinette
had a
table
crack in
there.
the front. Had a crack in the front bumper. It had peeling paint on the roof where somebody clearly hadn't put any wax or any kind of protective.
Well, there was a lot of kids up there.
It
that
had
were
like clear
polishing
coat
it.
failure. Yeah,
Ivan
so we.
LaCroix was up there. That little kid, that little Steve was
But
up
the
there.
truck came stock with a bed liner. It had a stock lift because it was like the pre-runner style version of
Yeah.
the Mazda
Oof,
B3000.
pre-runner.
So it was two-wheel drive.
perfect.
So I had people constantly asking if it was four-wheel drive, but it's only two.
We could have got some F-150 springs from
But
the
it's
junkyard
because it
across the
doesn't look
street.
low like the other like mini
Yeah.
truck style ones. It was actually the dual sport package, whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Oof,
it
man.
was a nice. It had a tow package
Yeah.
on it. It had
That's
some other stuff. So
we
it
could have
was
had some
not a
fun with
bad
that
vehicle.
truck.
The issue was when you list that stuff on paper and you go, it might have a head gasket issue. We looked into that. I ran head gasket sealer through it. It no longer smoked after that. And I checked my oil afterwards to see if there was mixture of oil and coolant. There was no longer mixture of oil and coolant. So I knew for a fact,
But then
okay,
you didn't drive it
for
after
right
that.
now, it's solved. So I drove it maybe 3 or 4 times after that to verify that
To
was
Express.
truly the
Pick up
case.
some breakfast.
What's crazy?
I spent
that truck's gonna run for
hundreds of
another
dollars.
Oh, yeah.
100,000
Yeah.
miles.
That's
That
the
truck will
issue. That's
literally-
the
that
absolutely.
truck is gonna
run for another
That is the part
100,000.
that drives me
No problem.
effing crazy is knowing that I changed all the
But you
fluids,
could
did
have
all the
said, I
stuff,
fixed the head gasket problem.
but I wouldn't feel honest about that.
Here's the deal,
that
Dane,
doesn't feel honest to me because I don't know if it's going to run for 2 weeks or 2 years or 20 years. I don't know.
So, Dane, is the truck already gone?
Yes, it's gone.
Oh, dang it. I needed a truck for moving. I should have asked to borrow it,
You
right?
should have.
I would have paid you $200 just to rent the damn thing for like a couple weeks, like 3 weeks, and I just had it so
Remember,
I could just
have
make
a
dump
trailer
runs.
that's bigger than his
Yeah, probably
truck.
just use his.
I know.
Was it 8,
You
9
just-
foot,
you
something
just
like
need
that?
to come grab it. It's
But
8 foot.
Any rate, so okay, so this is the part I wanted to stress out there. It's just I was walking a tightrope. It's this weird part where it's like, okay, the car is not perfect. It's a used pickup truck though, so it has a lot of inherent value just by being a pickup truck. A lot of people are looking for cheap trucks. There's a lot of interest there, especially smaller, more economical ones. It got decent gas mileage, but with the knock and the other stuff, it's like, you can hide a lot of things, but I'm not interested in pretending it's something it's not. So I tell people, like, here's the issues.
Yeah.
This is what I know.
Yeah.
And the hard part was it did run and drive perfectly
So why'd you
fine.
sell
It just sounded a little knocky. And at the same time, I have no use for a third vehicle that's a truck. If I'm going to have a third vehicle, it's going to be another Miata or a motorcycle or something fun. Like, I don't have an interest
Motorcycle.
in...
I'm excited about
I don't have an
this
interest in
version of
another
Dane.
pickup truck.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the Tacoma
I
that
love
solves
these
that.
alternate versions.
As I've stated before on the podcast, I'm very like task utility minded. Like, okay, this vehicle solves this purpose.
Well-
That is a block in my driveway. Another vehicle does a different purpose. I'm not going
I
to have
a
redundant
toilet
vehicles.
I need to get rid of, therefore I need a
I
pickup
bought
bed.
a truck. Okay, so
Yeah.
point being,
I like it.
I'm just
So,
laying it out. I'm methodical.
when are you buying a
about it.
motorcycle?
Someday I do want to pick
Dane,
up
I
a used
could-
SV6.
So there's a
No,
chopper.
Dane, I could see
there's
on
a
a-
chopper on next door right now for $6,500 down the street. A custom built,
next
fully
door
custom built
is
chopper.
Next door.
This lady is like, I
a
think she got a
plague.
divorce because she is selling everything out of the garage
So-
that's not hers.
I just want to point this out to people who aren't familiar. Nextdoor is like this app, this website, essentially. That's kind of like Facebook for neighborhoods.
It's perfect.
It's it
I'm able to
goes
find out what's
south in
happening in my
exactly the way
neighborhood.
you expect it to, where weird nosy neighbors get into arguments
Oh,
with
it's
each
so
other.
good. So
It's
good.
kind of hilarious
I love
for
it.
people watching, but honestly,
There's a
when it
lady in
comes
my
to-
neighborhood who scans cats.
Oh,
If she sees your cat walking out, she's going to scan it because she wants to find out where it lives.
that's interesting.
Super worried about that.
Yeah.
To the point that the neighbors are like, yeah, that's our cat.
Okay.
Stop touching it.
We've already told you that.
The-
She's like, I scanned this cat. Apparently, it
the
lives
few
next door to me.
benefits I've
Does anybody
truly
know who
found
this is?
to that site have
great.
been
It's one of my
people with
favorites.
lost pets, other people looking out. I appreciate that that's a function of like, oh, you can be neighborly, you can do this stuff. But just like
The other thing
Facebook,
I like-
it devolves into
The
this
other thing I
just
like is when
weird
people tell
Hatfields
they,
and McCoy
they let the
situation.
neighborhood know there was a white car that drove down the
Oh,
street.
yeah, the people are
at
like the neighborhood want- oh.
1:32 this afternoon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in the middle of the afternoon, it's like
Okay.
yeah, traffic.
Did they come back? I don't think so. I think they drove down to the end of the street and pulled into someone's driveway and then into the garage.
Unless you live in
Pretty sure those
dead
people
end
live
in a
there.
neighborhood.
Well, I called the police just to be safe. That's
Okay.
what it is. It's great.
People like
It's
that
one of my
drive me
favorites.
absolutely
It's
insane.
one of my favorites. That's why
I'm
I love
telling you right now, if you're happen to be listening to this right now, stop doing that immediately.
So
Stop
Dane,
it.
so anyway,
Yeah.
so now you don't have the truck. You want to buy a motorcycle. You've already got your money saved up. Now, is this
He's
something?
reading a lot into this.
Is
I'm not
this
buying
something
I
a
that-
think you need a Yamaha VMAX.
Oh, with the side
With
air
side
intake.
vents. Yeah,
Oh,
Dane, that would be some
yeah.
BDE right there. You would be
Yeah.
driving around on that thing.
Isn't that a cruiser
Can you
bike?
imagine? Can you imagine?
It's a sports. It's like a
It's like a
sport
sporty cruiser. It's really
They're
nice.
fast. They're fast as crap. They are.
So
It'd be awesome.
it's kind of like the old
So there was
Harley
a dude.
V-Rods.
So yeah,
yeah,
but,
it's a competitor to the V-Rod. Yeah.
But what was great is I like the
feel a
solid
little
aluminum.
awkward
I also like the
on a
solid
cruiser
aluminum wheels on those.
Dane,
Like the
what
back
about
one would be solid aluminum and the front
Yeah.
one would be spoked.
Yeah.
And it'd be.
Dane, what about a Honda Monkey?
Could you
it's the
imagine
Grom's weird brother.
How awesome would that be, though? Dane, you and Liz heading to Express Cafe in the morning, riding the bike.
I'm sorry, I'm the
Beautiful
really basic
Saturday
guy
morning.
who likes the Honda Ruckus.
Get a Ruckus.
I like the
two of 'em.
Ruckus.
I get two. Get one for you and Liz. You would have a
The Ruckus
blast.
is like
Liz
the
would be
element
able to
of
take it
tiny
out.
Dane,
bikes.
you can
You'd
go
be
get a
able to ride
Ruckus
it?
for like
Yeah.
$1,500, right? You buy
Yeah.
two of them, you get $3,000, right?
Yeah, you've
You
already
and
got
Liz,
$1,000.
It's days worth of fun, right? It might take you a couple days to get to your destination. That's why I say that because
Yeah, they're not
they are
fast.
very they go 35 miles an hour, but they are a lot of fun.
That would be.
Something to think
I
about.
just miss when I was younger and I was able to like go onto a friend's ranch and just ride like their old little
You
CBs
live on a ranch
around
right
on
now. You have a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, that's not
Kinda
the same.
like
Dane,
a
I'm
ranch.
telling you, you get a Ruckus. We'll do the Ruckus TRC build. We'll do blue, right, with like a chromium, like
Yeah.
like a
Stretch
cool,
it.
like we'll stretch it. And we'll
Oh,
throw
man.
I think it's
Lower
called
'em?
a GY6 swap in there.
Okay.
That thing will do 80 miles an hour.
That'd
Swear
be
to you, I'm
amazing.
not lying.
Sounds safe.
Carbureted 80 miles an hour. That thing will rip.
I'm excited about this.
boy.
Dane on a Ruckus, Liz on a Ruckus. Then you could put Callie on the back too.
Duckus on a Ruckus.
Yeah, they make backpacks for dogs. I don't know if you knew that. I have. one
Callie's
for
not really
my dog.
what you call a backpack dog.
My
What about a
corgi
side
fits
cart
in one.
for the
Ooh, a
Ruckus?
side cart for the Ruckus for Callie.
Oh,
The family trip out to Express
New YouTube
Cafe.
channel, Callie in the Valley.
Treasure Valley.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Callie in the Valley.
Treasure Callie.
Yeah.
I like it. Oh man, this is great stuff.
Oh,
So,
Anyway, yeah.
are you back in your house yet?
Yeah, so tell us.
All right, so I'll give you guys the update on kind of everything that's going on, and then I'll kind of briefly talk about that trip. Yes and no. I'm kind of in the house. I'm kind of between two houses, between two ferns, as some would say. So the old house,
Must be
we
nice.
are 90% moved out of that one, right? So the garage, still have the Evo in there, still have my bikes, and then have a lot of just miscellaneous garage things.
At the old garage.
At the old garage. We still have to clean out the closets at the old house and things like that. But we're 90% there. The new house has everything kind of in the garage and a lot of the stuff kind of in rooms. We at least have our bedroom set up and everything. So it's a livable house. We can finally live in that.
Yeah.
But how this kind of was panning out is the days before I left on this trip, I was struggling to get all this stuff at the new house done, right? Because things
Right.
were still in the process. Like my mom's friend was still coming out to paint, right? They were still doing that. We don't have blinds
Right,
in the
yeah,
house yet,
the
right?
house is still
Blinds are coming this
ransacked.
Wednesday. So it's still like not really a real house yet. And so I was still in the
Stretching in front of the way.
Oh no, I just walk
Oh,
out.
no.
I just walk in my underwear. I don't care, man. I'm like, if they want to look, they can look. But it was just a lot going on in those few days before we left,
Right.
and we had to pack for camping and all this stuff, and we don't know where the heck any of our stuff is. So Katie goes and she's like, I went to the store and I bought all new stuff for this. I'm like, I just found the box with all of the gear, and she's like, well, we can take it back. I'm like, you're not going to take it back.
No.
You never take anything back.
Yeah,
It'll
right.
sit in that box for 2 years with a receipt, and then we can't take it back. So that's the story of my life there. So anyway, basically packed everything up, and then come to find out, got an email saying that the water at the old house has been shut off for 3 days because they're doing something with the lines.
Oh.
I realized that the grass over there was dying because I'd already gone several days without water before. Go back over the new house. I'm like, holy crap. These renters that are they're renting in that house are moving in 2.5 weeks, right?
Yeah.
The grass is almost dead in the front of the yard, right? Which does not look like how it looked in the pictures when we sent them,
Right,
the pictures.
Have they seen it
So-
since?
Nope, they haven't seen it since because they don't live here. They're moving from somewhere else. So I'm stressing out about that, trying to save that lawn, right? Lawn at the new house, right? Because we were having 100-degree days, and I'm trying to bump. It's
back
like
to back.
this is the most like
get a dump
this is the most king of the hill stuff I've ever done in my life, right? I'm so worried about the lawns in both places, and it sucks because I have the lawnmower at the old house. I don't have any of my stuff at the new house, so I'm trying to think of how to even manage all of that stuff. But anyways, I said screw it, mowed the lawn, got everything cleaned up, took off on our trip. So just. We're still not moved in. So go on that trip. We drive straight through, all the way through Bend, everything like that. Get to, it's right past. It's before Eugene. It's somewhere around there is where the Belknap Hot Springs are. Stayed there. Parents and my aunt and uncle stayed inside the far thing, and then me, my sister, my brother-in-law, and Katie, we stayed at the campground site. Right, so we set up camp and all that. And it was fun. I mean, we went whitewater rafting on one of the days there. It was 100 degrees at Belknap Hot Springs, right? So hot outside and humid.
Yeah.
So
and then you go into hot springs.
And then I go into hot springs, right? I'm looking at my parents, like, what are you doing, dude? Like, I'm like, well, they're like, it's only 108 in here, and I'm outside, it's like 100 degrees. I'm like, well, it's only 8 degrees hotter. And at least
I was gonna say
wet.
the funny thing is you step in and you're like, it's the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's no difference between this and that.
And I was just whatever. So, but we did that. For the most part, we went hiking, went up to Blue Pool, checked that out. It was in fact a blue pool, very deep hike, and you go and find a very blue pool. I probably should have given Nick all this footage. Sorry, next time. But from there, like, we went rafting, hung out, had campfires. We did all sorts of fun stuff like that. And from there, we pretty much packed up, headed out, drove to the coast. So we were going to Florence, Oregon, where there's all the sand dunes and all of that. And we had a beach house. And the thing I was noticing, though, is that, not that it matters, had no cell phone service, right? The entire time we were at the hot springs. Had no cell phone service when we got to this beach house. Just dead spots. I don't know why. Not a big deal, but it was just...
So you're like, oh, slip on the Wi-Fi.
Well...
Now we're in a civilization.
Correct.
Here.
Then I'm like, I'll connect to the Wi-Fi. GFI went out on the Airbnb that we were staying at, right? No power there. So none of us had Wi-Fi on that side of the house. So didn't have anything. So if you notice on Instagram there wasn't any posts or anything, it's because, like...
It's kind
literally
of
couldn't get anything
it's
up.
your gig, and you had recently changed things up, so the rest of us didn't have any access to it while you were away either.
Correct. Yeah, and that sucked. And so I kind of dropped the ball there. But I tried to post when I could. So if you guys tagged us in anything, I'm sorry. I couldn't get to anything. I couldn't even see anything. So
He's trying.
But my back was killing me, man, dude. We were camping, so we were tent camping, right? All I had, we were on hard ground. My dad had these roll-out foam things that he's had for 25 years. He's had these foam things, right?
Oh, no.
They were so thin, right, because of how old because he used them for hunting and things like that.
He pulls out his foam mat. It's just a sheet of paper.
It started out, it was this
Here you
thick,
go.
but now when you got them, they were this thick.
Actually, it's more like a tarp.
Dude, I was dying. And the other
so
thing,
you didn't guys bring like an air mattress or anything?
Oh, man, no, because they told me, like, hey, we got foam things. You're going to be totally fine. And I'll be honest, guys, I love the outdoors. I think it's great.
Yeah, what you need is a tent trailer.
I'm not a 3-day camper. I'm good for like a night. I'm good for like 2 nights. Yeah. But like that third night starts to get pretty rough.
Well, you know, the MOS HQ is going to have a new amenity.
Yeah, well.
The tent trailer.
Rentable tent trailer.
Hook that right on the back of the 4Runner.
Yeah.
Did you guys take the 4Runner?
Yeah, we took the 4Runner.
Why didn't you just lay everything down and try sleeping in there?
Couldn't bring the cars back into the tent sites. You had to walk in. Yeah, you had to walk in. It sucked. So
it's one of those.
Yeah, but it kind of is what it is. And but my back was just killing me. So by the time we got to the beach house, I was just excited to sleep in a bed. Yeah. Go figure, the way the whole house was set up.
You slept on the floor.
Me and Katie had to get bunk beds.
Oh, I was going to say, knowing how Airbnb and all that stuff works, it was probably child's beds.
Yeah,
That's
it was
how
a
that usually ends up.
Yeah, it was a child-sized bunk bed. So she got the
vacation.
She got the
Sleeps
bottom.
20, 18 of which are just small corners we decided to throw a rando tiny mattress in.
So she slept on the bottom, I slept on the top, and the entire night she's like, stop moving up there, because I'm trying to like adjust the whole
I
thing.
like as you the top bunk.
The whole thing.
Meanwhile, everyone else in the house is assuming things are going on, and you're saying, nope.
It was just
Nope.
swaying back and forth. I'm like, I hope I don't kill you. I hope
You know, as the heavier person, you were supposed to be
like-
on the bottom.
I tried to talk to her. She said she didn't want to have to climb up on the top bunk. So. Anyway, yeah. So, but we stayed there at that house. The ocean was literally right across the street. So 1 minute walk and you're at the ocean. But it's just kind of the Oregon coast is strange because there's tons of fog, right? There's lots of that, and but it was a good spot. We went up to the lighthouse, went and saw the Hesita Lighthouse, beautiful. Everybody was masked up. All the people hiking and all that. There was old people literally hyperventilating in their masks walking up this trail. And I'm looking at them like, why are you putting yourself through this, right? Like, why are you...
Just go home, watch TV, hang out.
Why are you're not enjoying this, right? And when we were all come back from the down the trail and this couple pointed out, they said, hey, are you guys
Are you all the Anthony?
No, they're like, are you the ones from Idaho? And we're like, yeah, that's us. And they're like, where are your masks? You guys should be wearing your masks. And we had them around our neck, right? We just got done hiking down this trail, and they're like, you need to put those on. And we're like, okay. So people are a little bit there. I don't know. It was a little, I don't want to say rude, but I figured if you were outdoors with these 9-foot paths, right, and plenty of space, I thought maybe hiking would be okay without masks. Apparently not.
Still getting called out.
They were in shame mode.
They were in shame mode, and we felt shamed. And we I think probably one of the funnest days we had, it was probably the second day we were on the beach. Like the late evening, we all had cooked food. We had like a barbecue at the house, and then all of my family went over to the beach. And as a kid, my dad always played wiffle ball with me, and so I always had my bat and my wiffle ball, and I was like, I wish I could play that again. There was a Fred Meyer down the street, and I told everybody, I'm like, I want to play wiffle ball. And they're like, well, go get one. Apparently, wiffle ball bats and things aren't really that much of a thing anymore inside stores. So because everybody remembers this, and people listening remember the yellow bats, the yellow plastic bats. They were skinny, and then it came with the nice hefty balls, right?
They were cheap. They cost like $6 or $8. Yeah, you get a little, it comes in like a sack.
Yep,
but it's like a
sack. That's what it was.
And it was perfect. And you just like, well, here we go. We're gonna play a game now that we're inventing on the spot, and let's go.
Yeah, it was a blast. Didn't have those, so I looked at aluminum bats, child's aluminum bats. They were $10. I bought one, and I bought like a bag of wiffle balls for $5. And I went back to the beach. I'm like, all right, guys, we're playing baseball, and we made up rules. We made like a whole system, like how many points are here, because we couldn't have players to run bases or anything. So we set up this whole system.
Was it like golfing, but with baseball style, knocking the ball out? Or...
Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like you had like if you hit it to this area, it's 1 point. Hit it to this area 2, then hit it to this area, it's 3. Yeah. You didn't have to run or anything, but then you would rotate through after you hit, and everybody hits and pitches and catches. Fun. And so, but we did that for 3 hours, dude. We were out there. We were having so much fun. Like we couldn't get sick of it. Like we were constantly playing. And I could tell like my dad was getting pretty choked up because he was just there and he was just on the beach and he was pitching to my sister and he's kind of looking around. He's like, man, this is awesome. And it was like a sunset and all of that.
That's what he wanted.
And I could tell it made my family just super, super happy. We were having a blast. I could have played for another 3 hours. It was so much fun. So, but it was probably my highlight of my trip was doing that. And then the next day we went to the sand dunes, tried sandboarding. Yeah, forget that, man. That sucks. I don't know who thought that would be a fun idea. It's fun going down for the 5-second decline.
Yeah,
that
but you got to climb back up the sand.
You have to climb back up in sand. You know how hard that is?
Yeah.
Dude, that was tough. And then I'd fallen, so I'd sand down my pants. I'd sands in the cracks and crevices of my body.
Right. And no way to wash those off.
Nope, no way to wash them off, so that sucked. But it was still okay.
You guys didn't rent like a dune buggy or something?
So we had talked about renting the dune buggies and doing all that. My uncle that was there was like, I had an ATV accident back in what year. He has a tire scar going all the way down from his back down to his chest. I apparently flipped an ATV and it cut into him, right?
Yeah. Oh no.
He's like nobody's doing ATVs while we're on this trip. He's like, it's not safe. And I said, yeah, you know what? You're probably right.
We'll get a side-by-side with a roll cage.
Yeah, so I was like,
go-kart,
whatever.
roll cage,
and then
UTV,
also
roll cage.
The price of it was actually pretty pricey to do that. We checked into it, and we kind of called it good there. But other than that, though, we just kind of enjoyed it. A lot of my family just wanted to go walk and be near the ocean. That was fun. And then we'd gotten takeout a couple times, and down at the Florence, you can go and walk kind of there's not like a pier there. It's like some type of, it's like a pier of some sort, but go inside that, go check that stuff out. They have some like art shops and stuff, but everything was just really strict with masks, and they had sanitizer out in front of the doors. You had to sanitize before you can walk in, and they would not let you in until they saw you hand sanitize.
Right. Yeah. They needed to see you do it.
It was, but it was pretty, it was pretty cool. And so from there, we had to make an entire trip back on Saturday. We left early Saturday morning. It was a 9-hour drive. So me and Katie just took shifts going back and forth, and we were just exhausted. It was just
it's a long drive.
Long drive. Not the worst thing in the world, but it was beautiful. I think if I could go back to the Oregon coast, especially in that area, I'd want to take a motorcycle, because there's going up through those mountains on I think it's 101. It's just insanely beautiful. And
well, that whole drive, that's the nice thing about driving like to Eugene or even Seattle or Portland. It's that whole area is gorgeous. That drive is nice. It's like when we would drive to Seattle. That's always a favorite drive for us compared to the drive to Vegas,
which is just nothing.
One fun thing that did happen, I think it was Thursday night at the beach house, and my mom had just got back from the beach, and she was coming in, and she's like, "Hey, has anybody seen my phone?" Right? And this was, I think, after baseball, and we're like, "No, we haven't seen it." So we're calling it, couldn't get a hold of anybody, or couldn't find where the phone was. And Mom was like, "I don't know if I left it at the beach," and she's like, "I'm gonna go back to the beach and look." And we're sitting there, and finally, my sister calls it, and it's on speakerphone, and we hear, "Hello," and I'm like, "Oh no!" Right? And my sister's like, "Hi, this is my mom's phone that you have. Where did you find it?" He's like, "Yeah, I found it at the beach." And we're like, "Oh, perfect." And it was like a younger guy kind of sounded younger. And we were like, "Okay, well, where can I come grab it from you? We're right across the street from the beach." He's like, "Oh, no." He's like, "I'm nowhere near the beach." And we said, "Well, where are you?" He's like, "I'm halfway to Eugene."
What?
And
what?
We were like, "What? Wait, what? No."
So what? This guy stole the phone and then he decided to answer it?
I'm like, "Wait, so you're halfway to Eugene?" He's like, "Yeah, I picked up this phone. I couldn't find it, and I didn't have any service." And I was like, "You know what? That makes sense, because there was no service over there. You couldn't get a hold of anybody. There was no service on the beach." So, and I don't know if he was just traveling through. He's like, "But hey, I finally I'm at a spot of service right now. I don't know how long I'll have service for." My brother-in-law, he's already in the car with keys.
Mile marker 72.
Let's go. He's like, "We're gonna find it." So we talked to this guy some more. I said, "Hey, where can you drop it? Can you just leave it on the side of the road somewhere if you're driving, or what can you do?" And he's like, "I'm coming up on a place. Looks like a bar. Yeah, it's called Frank's. I'm going to leave it at this bar." So he walks into this bar. He tells the bartender, "Hey, are you Frank?" "No, I'm not Frank." "Hey, I'm going to leave this phone with you. These guys are on their way." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "Hello?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm on my way to come get my mom's phone. Can you hold it?" And he said, "Yeah, of course. I'll hold it here." So we're driving. It was a 35, almost 40-minute drive, right?
Wow.
To get to Frank's place. It was halfway to Eugene. It was far, and we were back in the woods. We were already back on that drive, and we're sitting there going through all these scenarios. Like, do you think this is the real deal? Do you think this is happening? Do you think the phone's actually there? What kind of guy would take this phone?
Weird setup.
We're running through all these different scenarios in our head, and we just couldn't quite figure it out. So finally, we pull up to Frank's place. Frank's place is closed.
No.
Lights off, right? And we were like, "No way." I'm like, "Maybe, okay, so nobody's at Frank's place. Everything's closed there. Maybe it's at the market. Let's go to this market down the, a couple places down." We go to the market. "Hey, is there any phone here?" "Sorry, man, there's no phone here. No, I haven't seen a phone." We walk out, and we're looking at each other like, "Dude, this sucks." Right. We drove all this way, and this guy's telling us it's at Frank's place. And my brother-in-law, he's like looking over at Frank's, and he sees the door crack, and he sees his head pop out. And and this guy goes, "Hey," and we go, "Frank?" He's like, "No, Frank's dead." But he's like, "Are you the guys looking for the phone?" And we're like, "Yes," right? Lights were off. Everything was closed, right?
Yeah, you probably just closed.
And we're like, "Yes, that's us." He's like, "Come on." He's like, "Come on, come inside." So we walk inside this bar. It's a total dive bar, right? It's a total,
they're so fun, though.
hole in the wall. And he's like, yeah, nicest guy dropped off this phone. And he's like, pulled up in a really nice car, nice Audi, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, I can tell he didn't need the phone. He needed to keep it. So he's just happy that he was able to get it to you guys. And he's like, yeah, said he couldn't have service, so he couldn't get a hold of anybody. And I said, well, that makes a lot more sense. And so he's like, yeah, we're closed up, but you guys want a drink? And I was like, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And he's like, well, I don't have enough time to serve you a full drink, so we got to get out of here. He's like, you guys want to do a couple shots or do a shot? And I'm like, yeah, I guess, right? And so he was like, don't worry, I'll buy them for you. And I'm like, well, this is
Oh, my
awesome.
God.
So he's like, have you ever done a Jameson with a pickle chaser or a pickleback?
Pickle.
And I said, no, I haven't. So pours a shot of Jameson, pours this pickle juice in this thing. And he's like, all right, go for it. Tell me what you think. And I'm like, well, let's see what happens. One of the best shots I've ever had.
What?
Swear to
What?
God, dude. Jameson and then pickle juice right afterwards. Oh, it is smooth.
That
It
feels like
is-
a southern thing, pickle juice.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
It was
interesting.
good, dude. It was good. We were driving home. We were just laughing. We couldn't believe what a story that
little
was.
experience.
And he's like, I can't get over how good that shot was. And I'm like, me either. So,
Oh, my God.
got back home, got my mom her phone back. We were like heroes walking into that door, right? And that was fun. So, anyway, got back home Saturday evening and got back to work, right?
Yep.
On everything. So starting moving stuff, cleaning things up, doing all sorts of stuff. And then Sunday, went down to Costco, got some garage racking, got the big black steel racks. I just thought those looked the best. In the old house, we had those wooden shelves built in, but they didn't give me the look I was going for.
Nah.
And so got these new shelves in, built them, put a bunch of stuff. It got a ton of stuff off the garage floor, so we can finally walk through there. And now we can finally park 2 vehicles in there.
Whoa,
Hey.
nice.
Got the third bay cleared out. Got part of the main bay cleared out. I'm just struggling now because I have no idea how to set up this garage.
Yeah.
I thought I had it down. I don't. And I wish that if there's like a garage designing like tool app or something, let me know because I have measurements. I'm just trying to figure out how this works. That third bay is only 19 and a half feet in length, right?
Oh,
which
very small. Yeah.
sounds right that would
Sounds
be
nice, but it's
sounds
actually quite
nice.
small. The
It's actually
Suburban
quite
wouldn't fit in that bay.
You
So-
know what you could use? Remember when I originally designed the layout of this building
Yeah.
using, it was like Room Sketcher or something like that? Basically, you can just create rooms, and it's like a free trial, whatever. You could build it up. I think they only limit like the number of projects you can create. Might try that because at least the measurements are accurate and stuff.
Yeah, because it's 19 and a half feet long, right? And I finally got the Civic in there to kind of visualize what it's going to look like once I put the Evo in there. Well, the Civic's 14 and a half feet long. I think the Evo is like right at 15 exactly, right? It's just a little bit longer.
Yeah, so you have 2 feet on
And,
the front and back.
Yeah.
2 feet on the front and back, right? Unless I butt up the rear all the way to the door. And then I have 5 feet, less than 5 feet, right? I wanted to put all of my cool workbenches and all of my stuff in front of
Yeah,
there.
and those are 36 inches to 24
they're
inches to
18,
18, depending
they're
on what
18.
size you're getting.
They're 18, drawers out, they're 36, right?
Right.
And I'm like, this isn't possible because I can't even get in the drawers
Yeah.
with the car in there. So I have to, my whole idea that I had with my workbenches, and I was going to do like a big, nice, tall, husky cabinet and a wall mount and a TV and all that. I think the only way that's going to work is if I put on the far wall of the longer, because the other side of the 2-bay or the big garage door, right, that length on that is 22 and a half feet,
Yeah.
right? So it's actually 3 feet longer, 2.5 feet longer. So that I could do it on that wall. But I'm just mad
So
because
why don't you just take the front of the house off and just make it longer?
Yeah, that's
should.
easy.
Like an extra 6 feet.
oh, man, dude,
Just
I
leave your
wish.
garage door open all
Just
the time.
just cut all that. I got a Sawzall.
Yeah.
I can
So
come
really,
over.
have a
we'll just take all
carport.
that. We'll just frame out a second, like 6 feet, and then we'll just cover it in like maybe cardboard.
Bondo.
Or
Yeah, just
we could probably get some plywood.
yeah.
Or pallets. That's kind of a hot thing.
It's a carport
We
now.
could do pallets out the front. Then put the doors back.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee they're going to look very good,
Right.
but it'll work.
it's
Yeah.
an idea.
So the neighbor
So-
down the street from me built a 3-car garage by doing that. With
Wow.
some, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Amazing.
Resourceful.
But basically, long story short, there is the garage I want. I can only afford in Weiser, Idaho. Yeah. So I'm like,
What about your
yeah.
plot of land? Just let's go get a Stormore
dude,
shed.
I'm about to
Let's
right
go get
now.
a Stormore shed. We'll just set it on there.
Yeah.
Dane, you've been pricing those out. I'm sure they've got some great options.
There are options. Although
that, Anthony
Gabe
could fit a
and
vehicle
Nick
in.
gave us a little bit of a heads up about a guy locally who builds some
Custom
interesting
Sheds
stuff.
of Idaho.
Custom Sheds of Idaho.
Yeah, I talked about that.
Seems very interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If I
sell
had a
the-
shed built,
They sell the Versatubes.
if I had a shed built, I can move a lot of that crap to make more room.
Right.
And I think I could
Yeah.
make that work pretty well. Especially if there was a shed big enough to store one of the bikes in.
I was going to say, if
with
you
like
got
a
it wide
roll.
enough, you could literally like fit the bikes, kind of
Well, I had a buddy that did that.
in a
He
row.
built. That's what he used to. That's what he did. Was he didn't have a garage for his house, but he just built a very large shed and parked both his motorcycles in there.
Yeah.
That'd be super
And then
nice.
it was a very small garage for his motorcycles. So it was like he still had his workbench in there. He had lights and all that.
Yeah,
But he had space for both bikes.
That'd be pretty awesome. But,
that would be.
later down the road. Until then, I still need blinds. But officially, all the painting's done in the house on the interior,
Excellent.
so that's all good.
Great.
Excellent.
So I'm pretty happy about that. And so now I just need to finish out painting the rest of the garage and organizing more crap, and then cleaning out the other house because we got to completely clean that. I need to have all the room for everything from that garage over into this garage. And it's just a long process, man. I never knew it was going to take this long. I wish there was just I need more of me, right? No, I don't
Yeah.
need, because other people say, hey, I'll help you. Where can I help you? And I say, dude, you don't know where any of this stuff goes, and I can only give you so much direction.
Right.
I need an exact replica of myself that knows everything that I know, that
Does things the way
that-
you want
dude,
them done. Yeah.
So, and it's just kind of hard, and I don't know, but it's taking a while, but I want to get to a good spot and then call it good.
So I have some graph paper.
Oh, really? Okay, plot everything out.
Yeah.
If you give me the measurements, we'll plot it out on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can add your measurements as rectangles of what vehicles you have and what all your stuff is. And we can do it old school rather than doing some weird
Yeah.
computer program
Yeah.
Dane has.
Something
I mean,
like that.
it's the difference between
same thing.
having to
I'm
use an
drawing it up.
eraser
Yeah,
versus,
right.
I can
Much
just
easier.
delete those blocks
flip
and
the pencil
go
over.
back.
Well, it sucks because now my whole flooring
Right,
idea,
yeah, it's
back
all-
burner.
yeah.
Back burner. I can't even think about that right now.
I say this as someone who used to do mechanical drawing. So
Yeah, it's so far.
Dane was a
yeah.
mechanical artist. I don't know if you knew that. That's what he literally did for a living for a number of years was mechanical drawings.
No, I've seen him.
They were mostly pictures of robots
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
toys.
But anyway, I'll keep everybody updated on the,
Oh,
on
yeah.
the garage situation because I just want to be done with this, and I want to be living in this house, like actually just living happily.
Yeah. So
Of
on the
course, we need to get to that
podcast
point.
discussion group, as you guys are
Yes.
listening to this,
this week's mission.
send all of your ideas for Anthony's garage. May they be organizational items or fun, futuristic ideas. Maybe perhaps your own mechanical drawings
Yeah.
of what Anthony's garage mahal could look like.
Yes.
And let's send some ideas. Hashtag get Anthony organized.
Yeah. Well, I
Put him on the podcast. Come on, guys. You guys did it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
Well, one idea to get you started, I threw it at you this morning. I said, in order to make do with space, you can take some notes from like tiny apartments that feel bigger,
like
despite
IKEA.
that. So what I was saying was do like a Murphy bed style workbench
Put a
that folds up
Murphy
against
bed.
the wall,
Put
but
a
has
Murphy
cool
bed in your-
graphics on
then
the
it's another
underside,
bed.
so it looks like an art piece on the wall
Murphy bed
when you're
in the
not
house.
using it. But it has gas shocks, and when you bring it down,
Put it on the
it's
top
an
of the
awesome
garage.
workbench.
Put it on the garage door so when it goes up, the bed falls down.
Yeah.
You just created the craziest hazard.
Oh no,
That's not what we want.
Dang, this Murphy bed didn't work.
So yeah, guys, go out there, go crazy with your ideas. Throw them
Yeah.
at Anthony. He needs to hear this
Yeah,
stuff.
I need something because in my head it all was like perfect, right? But like I said before, I've talked about Dane about this, right? I don't want to have to back in the Evo, but I might have to because the third bay the door opens up to the wall,
Yeah.
right?
You're gonna have to.
And
back
then
in.
everybody's like, well, why don't you just have Katie over there and all your toys on the other side, right? And have everything over on the other side. In theory, that works out great. I know that I won't hit a wall when I open up a door because
No,
I'm
she's gonna
crazy,
hit-
right?
she'll hit the wall.
She is going to go through that
Yeah,
drywall.
you're
right?
gonna have to put foam up. Like I had to. I had
yeah.
to put foam all along the workbench and all the door handles, like for the doors. Like
Yeah.
I pulled them all off and then glued foam.
It's gonna look like a karate dojo, and all the
because
walls are padded.
That's literally what happened. Carly would get out, and she would grab her purse, and she would kick her door open.
Oh my
and it would swing and hit the
Don't do
cabinetry. But I had to put foam on it to keep it from getting dented.
Did she not learn from the first time that the door hit something that dented it?
Yeah, but the door stopped opening at that point. Like, it's where it stopped so she could get out.
So as far as she was concerned, it just worked.
Yeah, the door opened.
Well, and then my other concern, right? And some other people will probably be like, oh my God, it's so true, right? I think about the walking path of somebody walking. My wife, when she gets out of her car, she always has a full hands, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
She has a laptop, a bag, whatever the heck she bought. Whatever, she has in her hands. And she's one of those, she's a one-load person. She's like, hey, I'll grab everything one single load.
She will.
One trip.
And that purse will be smacking every single that's nearby.
So that's her.
No, my wife's the same way.
Like it's
and
gonna hit
and
everything.
I've thought in my head, if I could clean this garage out, I could probably fit 2 cars in here perfectly. And then I thought, nope, because if I left 1 car in, it doesn't help, because if Carly pulls in, she will give herself enough room to get out. I am no longer able to account because I now have children.
Yeah, children are a wild
So if
variable.
Carly pulls in, and let's say there's just a very fine line between the Elantra and that's really the only thing I could pull in there, would be the Elantra, and it would be tucked, totally tucked, tied up against the corner. Hadley gets out on the passenger. Augie rides right behind the driver. Hadley drives behind the passenger. Hadley would then mimic her mother, kick the door open, smack the car. That's what it would be. Because already I've told Carly, you need to move a little more, because Augie kicks the door open and would hit the workbench. So same kind of thing.
Yeah.
My 2-car garage can only fit 1 car because of the way my children are.
Unfortunately, that's a sacrifice you had to make.
I worked around it.
In your case, one thing I had stressed to you before was possibly backing it in, but then you explained you don't want to have to do that every time you want to move the thing. Whereas I do it every day. I back into my garage to make the
you
car.
also don't have children.
Right. And Liz is very careful.
3 vehicles. Well, you're not trying to fit 3 vehicles into one very tight space.
Right. 3 vehicles, no. But I have a relatively tight space.
You have a tight garage.
Width-wise. So I have a pickup truck and I have the Jag, and I park them side by side. But I always have both driver's doors facing in towards each other, because that's the door you go in.
And
so that's the easiest way to do it.
You are perfect
So
and
Jag
correct.
goes forward, truck goes backwards, done.
Yeah.
Truck has a backup camera.
But if you
It's
had
easy.
the truck and your Jag in my garage with my children,
The children are the part that
that
there's
is the
no
wild
way
card.
I
You
could make that work. You
couldn't do
can't.
it.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it. You'd be
But-
like, the Jag goes in here, everybody else parks outside. Kids, you're not allowed in the garage.
Your case, totally understandable. His case, I feel like he can make a small sacrifice to pack it in when he wants to do it.
Katie drives her car in and out of that garage.
So yeah,
And a one-trip pony.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. For the third bay, absolutely, I will probably have to get used to backing it in. It just sucks because when you back in a car over, when you have a curb, right, you have to get up over a curb, especially a lowered car. You got to come in at an angle because I've already done the measurement, right? I can't go straight back. If I go straight back, that front lip scrapes along the front of the curb there, right? There's not enough, or on the road, right? There's not enough clearance there. Not worth it, right? So I have to come in, back in at an angle, turn, right? Crank it, turn straight back in, and then I have to work a clutch on an Evo, getting it into a third bay back in the way I want it.
I'm just saying it's possible. I did it on a hill with a manual transmission in a car that had no aids to help backing up.
It's a pain, but it's possible.
Yeah.
But I think that
it's worth it in the end.
Will probably make the most sense to do it because it is also extremely tight getting out on that side because there's no kick out. That wall is what is that.
Oh,
wall.
right. So it just meets.
It's not like there's not like a foot. There's not like a half a foot. It's you drive into the garage wall.
Yeah. So the trick is you figure out where the furthest extent to your mirror is, and you basically gauge that, and when you're lined up right for it, you can just do the same thing every time. It becomes muscle memory.
Yeah, and that's would probably be the best plan.
Because I don't even have to fold my mirror in to do it. You can once you figure out like truly where the corner of your car is for that, it becomes very easy. But it's not easy at first. It's just something you grow into.
Yeah, it's just something to get used to. But anyways, that's it. So this week, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm
well, if you need green bean, it's there for you.
Yeah.
Just got to come over and grab it.
I need to figure out, does anybody need moving boxes? Need cardboard?
No. I don't.
I might to move stuff, but
I got a lot of cardboard. I got a lot of stuff. I got to get rid of. And okay, so like a we call it like a dump and run, right?
Oh yeah.
If you do like a dump and run with recycling, is that a bad thing?
I don't know.
Right? If I were to show up to a dumpster somewhere, maybe a small business, and I dump a lot of cardboard in there, am I doing any
They don't
harm?
like that.
They don't
Take it
like
just
it.
down to the recycling center and probably get paid for that cardboard.
People do that to us sometimes.
I know, and I think about that too. I'm like, I wouldn't want that being done to me, but at the same time, there's some of those businesses that never even use those dang dumpsters.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
true.
the logic people use to make themselves feel better when they do it.
I do.
But
That's
yeah.
like- that's-
But there is
that's
there
what
is a
I've always
place
done.
in town here who takes recycling, all that kind of stuff. Not too hard. It's just up the road.
Remember back in the day, we used to load that Suburban up with cardboard, and Jeff would take it down to the recycling center.
Yeah, they stopped taking cardboard at that location
Yeah.
now, so we can't do that anymore. It kind of sucks. Any rate, I think we've gone over
We've
an
gone
hour,
over,
but
we've put some
I
good
did
information out
want to
there.
point out though, guys, in the Facebook podcast, Rag Company Podcast discussion group, just type in the Rag Company Podcast on Facebook, you'll find the group.
Yeah.
Go there, help Anthony out. Let's give the guy a
give him some
hand. Let's give him some
Some
schematics,
schematics.
some cool ideas,
Yep.
ideas for programs. If you know anything good, that's just like a free to use thing that he could
Yeah,
maybe
programs,
give a
or
shot.
if there's just pictures. If you find
Yeah.
pictures, right, of I think the garage
Well
measurements,
organized.
right, are roughly, right, 20 and a half, right, by probably 32 feet in width, right? So 20 something in length, or
Yeah, so if there's one of you that
with.
still uses Pinterest out there that has a weird obsession with garages
Yeah,
and really
send me some
has a
pics.
bunch and maybe has something in there that fits the bill, help a guy out. So, yeah,
like it.
with that said, is there anything left to add from either of you guys?
No.
Okay, so I think
Just
we're good.
stay tuned for Thursday.
Yes, Thursday, Wednesday too. We got cool stuff.
What's happening
going
on Thursday?
Wednesday's cool stuff. Thursday Q&A
Yes.
coming up with a special guest, and then Friday, obviously, we got a lot of big things happening this week here at the Rag Company.
Yes.
So tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, get ready.
Yeah.
We're gonna blow your minds.
So, for those who may have noticed, we didn't have a Wash Wednesday last week. We're bringing them out like every 2 weeks. So, there is a Wash Wednesday this week. So, you can expect to see one tomorrow. And some other new stuff on the
Yep.
website tomorrow.
Nice.
I think that's basically it. Okay. So, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Rag Company Podcast YouTube channel, as well as the Rag Company YouTube channel and the Rag Company FAQ channel, which is where you can find answers to all your questions. These guys talk, but it's for a shorter amount of time. You know, you kind of like to talk on our other videos. That's what the podcast is for.
Straight
but
to the point.
sometimes you just want an answer. That's where you get it. And if you have something you want us to answer, leave it in the comments of any one of the videos there, and we'll keep track of what comes in, and
I
we'll
like it.
hopefully turn it into a video. So, with that said, guys, thanks again. We'll catch you later.
See ya.
Adios.